Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel for the finale of Season 46. It's war number 12, and we have a matchup against Legion. This is an interesting war because it really doesn't matter to either alliance. Both us and Legion are locked into the top 10. However, we are going to be playing normally today and just getting additional experience against this tactic. Team today, Chee'ilth, Hulk, and Shuri come into war, I think, for the first time ever. We have a few fights with her, so excited about that. We'll be starting off today on path number 5, which I don't think I've ever taken since this new map was introduced. We have a Jessica Jones here on node 5 with Ebb and Flow knockdown. We're going to go in here with Chee'ilth. With the cleanses, Chee'ilth basically shuts down everything that Jessica Jones has going for her defensively, and she's never going to get enough investigation to ever become a threat to us. So really we're just going to be practicing like heavy counters here, pushing her to the special 2 because I can safely heavy counter it with my heavy attack. Of course, she is still debuff immune, so we're not applying any bleeds, and the knockdown from the heavy is going to give her additional uptime on that debuff immunity. So most of the damage in this fight is going to be from our basic attacks because we're just going to be constantly knocking her down with specials and heavies. So we're getting the Fury there, of course, which is going to assist us in increasing the damage from our basic attacks. You can see when the bleeds do trigger, we're doing quite a bit of damage until they're shrugged off from the protection here. So very little opportunity in here to get bleeds to stick on Jess, but you know, Chee'ilth is, again, more or less a hard counter to Jessica Jones on mostly any node, and down she goes. Really solid fight there. Alright, next up we have a Nick Fury on 14. This is a very, very common placement for him, specifically because of the heavy hitter node. So when he's unblockable or stun immune or both, it is very difficult to get an opening against him because his heavy attack is fully unstoppable. So you can't counter it at all. You can't even sneak it in at like the last frame or two here. So you really have to rely on a couple things here. Mostly you have to rely on blind intercepts and pushing him to special 2 as often as possible because you can safely punish it. Special 1, less easy to punish here. I mentioned a few minutes ago that Shuri, I think this is the first time I've brought her to war ever. She's more or less a cheat code in this tactic because if you have her duped, she can block unblockable special attacks, which is what the tactic is trying to do here, and she is extremely tanky, so especially in special attacks that have multiple hits, like Nick Fury Special 1 for instance, it's just going to give her additional armor ups, and it's going to really reduce the amount of damage that she takes here. So I'm trying to keep in mind here that he's still in the first life. We still can safely parry him to get our openings here, but he is about to go into second life here. So now he's stun immune, and we have to be super careful about how we get our openings now because we can't bait heavies anymore. Right there, I tossed the special 1 into his block. I'm not really sure what happened there. I must have been late on the special or something. I don't know. So we're using the striker here to get him up to 2 bars of power. That is the safest way to get your opening in this fight. We've triggered the unblockable, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to push him over 20 attack charges. And now we're going to try for an intercept here, I think. And he doesn't cooperate, sticks out his light attack. Fortunately, he does not finish his combo. And we are able, I think, to push him back over the special 2 here with our special 1. So it kind of worked out in our favor. a little bit of luck there, I would say. And now we're going to try for another intercept again, and the shocks end up doing him in. So could have been a little cleaner, but I'm pretty happy overall with that fight. Alright, up in section 2 we have a Void here on node 22 with steady build-up unblockable and special burst lockdown. So Chee'ilth, a really good option here because of the cleanses here. Every time that Void uses a special attack, he's going to apply debuffs to you, and we can just cleanse them immediately. And if we happen to mistime our combos or get hit by one of his special attacks, we will also just cleanse whatever debuffs he applies here. So really, really good counter here in general. You can, if you get the taunt up, you can safely heavy counter his specials. I don't think I choose to do so in this fight. Again, I tend to play a lot more conservatively in war than I do in like questing type content. Very aware of stand your ground too, so you never know when the opponent is going to whip out like a block and end up parrying you. So that's a very, very quick fight though. Chee'ilth is just absolutely amazing. Alright, next up we have a RINTRAH here on 31. So you're going to see a little bit of a bug going on here with Chee'ilth. So we don't shrug off the heal block at the start of the fight because it's applied before our cleanses are available. However, when we trigger a power sting by dashing back twice from painful retreat, the heal block is actually going to get cleansed right there. So that is a bug. So right now her cleanses are purifying one of each type of debuff. That's going to be fixed eventually. I don't really know when. So other than that, Chee'ilth, a very strong counter to this node and to RINTRAH in general, because you want to be knocking him down with heavies a lot. His special one is very easy to heavy counter, as you can see there, and then that really helps keep his cow charges under control here. So we're basically just baiting out the special ones and heavy countering them, applying additional bleeds, shortening our spirit charge timer, and keeping those charges under control. If he does happen to go unstoppable, it's completely fine because, again, we're spamming our special 1 in this fight, and as long as we have that Grizzly's Grit passive on us, we can successfully hit into him while he's unstoppable without him reacting as such. So right here, trying to get one more special 1 out of him. I don't want him to go up to that special 2 because I am absolute trash at dexing it here. And he's getting some power gain, but again, he's not really that close to it. And then I decide to just YOLO it and finish it off here with a special 1. So again, really, really clean fight. Very happy with that one. Alright, moving on to the mini-bosses I have assigned today. We have a Quicksilver here on 39, and my mistake in this fight is going in here with Chee'ilth. I really underestimated just how much of a pain the power snack node is going to be here. So right there, he hits right through my block. I put the evade on cooldown, immediately blocked, and he punched right through it, so that was super unfortunate. He's not playing into my intercepts. I triggered the power snack node, and now I have to try and dex an unblockable special 1 without the benefit of the bulwark passive or whatever it is. I try and YOLO a special 1, but the evade is back on cooldown, and he punishes it here, and now I am in big trouble here. So I trigger the power snack node again. I have no protection from the special 2, and this is going to be instant death as soon as he throws this. So yeah, super bad fight. Again, my mistake in here was going in with Chee'ilth, I think. What I should have done is what I'm doing here on the cleanup, which is go in with Shuri. Shuri is immune to the precision from dexterity, so she will not trigger the power snack node in this fight, and you can safely play this fight as you would normally. And again, talked about this earlier in the video, she's basically a cheese option for this tactic if you have her duped, because you can just block the specials regardless of whether or not you have that I keep saying bulwark. I can't remember if it's actually bulwark. Whatever the effect is on you, you can block the unblockable specials anyways here. So that's what I'm doing here. Just staying very patient here. You know, making sure I check to see if his evade is off cooldown. Our specials will ignore the evade anyways, so that's fine. Making sure to keep our shocks refreshed, blocking everything, trying not to push him to special 2. I have a lot more control in this fight with Shuri than I do with Chee'ilth. So if we do see this matchup in the future, Chee'ilth is definitely not the right option here, I would say. You need somebody who is probably a buff immune. And Shuri is just the top option for this fight here. You can see just how quickly we're doing damage in this fight compared to the last fight too. We've basically lost almost no health despite taking a ton of specials on the block. Our armor ups are sitting there between 15 and 20 there. We did take a couple hits, but again, the armor ups are giving us so much protection from his basic attacks that they're just doing no damage, and down he goes. Alright, right here I make probably my biggest mistake of the season here. I'm supposed to go to the far left there to Titania, and for some reason I wrote these fights down out of order, so I'm actually going to teleport here to APOC instead of Titania in the top left there, and I felt really, really awful about this. This is the worst kind of mistake that you can make, because, you know, now somebody else gets stuck with that Titania fight, which is one that I am comfortable taking, so I don't realize it until after this fight is over. But anyways, we have an APOC here on Hazard Shift, so we can only really hit into him during the shock phase because we are immune to shocks. I wasn't sure how her non-contact attacks would function with Hazard Shift, so I tried out the special 1 here, took some bleeds, and now I'm like, okay, you can't hit into him in any way during the bleed phase, or else you'll trigger some debuffs on yourself. Other than that, we're just blocking whatever special he happens to have. I'm not too comfortable with like the partial dexes of these specials. I think I do try it a couple times on the special 2 here. And then I also remember my shocks maybe almost falling off, although I could be misremembering it and thinking of like a Battlegrounds fight, so we'll see how this works. You can also see that I'm getting easy parries in this fight, and that is thanks to a White Mag's pre-fight. That's pretty standard, I think, for us at least on the Conflictor node. We try and send a White Mag's pre-fight here. Other than that, you know, the shocks are doing a ton of damage, just keeping him refreshed, just paying attention to the hazard shift phase here, and he's taken quite a bit of damage over time here. So baiting out one more special 2 here, and I think this is another partial dex. There are 2 hits there, blocking the blasts, and then I think we dex 2 out of the 3 final hits there. So that's pretty much as comfortable as I think I can get with that special 2 dex. So I normally edit most of the post-fight stuff out here in these videos, but you can see the moment where I realize that I've made a critical error here. So I move up to the teleporter here, and I see that my only option is Boss Island, and I immediately realize, oh crap, I was supposed to go to Titania, and so I had to go post in my BG chat that I had made a terrible mistake, and I had dumped an extra fight onto somebody else, so felt super bad about that. Alright, next up we have a Scorpion on 49. I hate taking Scorpion without an anti-evade option here. So we did a Power Start 1 boost just to try and get our bleeds up more frequently. Polka Dot Power with a lot of bleeds is going to give us a lot of power in this fight. And then it's really just a matter of, you know, just trying to not die from the evade. And he's kind of nice there. He only does a double medium after it. If we trigger Stunning Reflection, which I think you saw me do once or twice already there, we will shrug off the stun debuff there with our cleanse charges. So if we make a mistake on that part of the fight, it's not too bad here. I'm trying to get my intercepts off, but you know, so it's not always going to happen. I also hate baiting his heavy attack because his recovery time is way too fast. You know, Scorpion in general, I think, has some really problematic things in his defensive kit, and I kind of wish rebalancing had existed when he was introduced into the game, because I think some of the stuff in his kit is straight garbage. But that's a discussion for another day. We're not worrying about the special 2 in this fight, just going straight special 1, just trying to do as much damage as possible. I don't have another Chee'ilth fight after this, so as long as we beat him, we'll be fine. And then just finishing it out with another special 1, which he evades, but he dies from the bleeds anyways. So, alright, last fight of the war and of the season is another really embarrassing fight. This is a Silk boss. We're going in with Shuri, and the number one thing I kept telling myself during this fight is don't try and dex the first hit of her special 1 because she will catch you on it and you will die. I'm trying to tell myself just to be patient here. Bubble Shield is probably going to happen at some point, but as long as you just take care to keep your shocks refreshed, spam that special 1 to get additional critical shocks, you'll be fine. But, I know, as usual, I make a really bad mistake here. That one is fine. Bubble Shield triggers in the middle of the special, which is nice. And right here, I try and dex the special 1. I get caught by it, and I'm immediately killed. And I was very, very upset by this because just a stupid mistake. Somebody else went in and cleaned that up for me. So, all right, we did come out on top for this one. Legion wasn't really pushing in this war. I think they ended up just using 40% revives when it was clear that we were pushing and they weren't. So 7 kills for me, 2 deaths. It's been a while since I double KO'd in a war. So yeah, one of my worst wars of all time here. And our record for the season finishes up at 9-3. I think this is the most wins we've had in a season since I joined SSX, so that's pretty good. And we also guaranteed top 10 last war, which is also really good. So, you know, a very difficult season, difficult tactic. I will have more thoughts on the tactic and the season in general in my wrap-up video. But until then, folks, if you enjoyed this one, I hope you did. And if you did, please let me know by hitting that like button. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.